The 2025 season for the Baltimore Orioles thus far has been an extremely confusing season for the fans, players, and ownership. The team sits 5th in the AL East with a record of 22-36 as of June 3rd and doesn't look anywhere close to where they expected to be. This is due to a multitude of things: pitching, hitting struggles, injuries, and bad GM work. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing what went wrong, what should be done, and what I think will be done. So to start, what went wrong? Let's flash back to last offseason, where the Orioles had two major players become free agents, with these being Anthony Santander, the switch-hitting outfielder, and ace Corbin Burnes. Both of these players ended up leaving. One, Corbin Burnes, left to go to Arizona, and Anthony Santander went to division rival Toronto. Both these players said that either the Orioles didn't match their years that they wanted or the amount of money. This is a bad sign for the Orioles and their fan base because the Orioles have been known to kind of be cheap. And with the new ownership, they were like, everyone thought that it was going to be different. Everyone thought that the team was going to spend money and be willing to spend money, and it didn't look like that this season. With the exit of Corbin Burnes from the lineup, the Orioles needed to replace his production. Aces such as Garrett Crochet, Max Fried, Jesus Luzardo, all were available in free agency and trading. Garrett Crochet ended up being traded to the Boston Red Sox, and Max Fried ended up in New York for the Yankees. Both teams are in the Orioles division. Instead of trading or signing one of these players, the Orioles went out and signed 35-year-old Tomoyuki Sugano from Japan and 41-year-old Charlie Morton, while also signing Kyle Gibson in spring training. Along with this, in the bullpen, they decided to DFA Danny Coulombe, or release Danny Coulombe, in favor of Cianel Perez. This was puzzling at the time and is even more puzzling now, as Cianel Perez has been DFA'd by the Orioles and Danny Coulombe is thriving in Minnesota. The Orioles went on to sign players such as Andrew Kittredge, Ramon Laureano, and Gary Sanchez for more right-handed hitting, but it just has not worked out for the players other than Ramon Laureano, who's been pretty good for the Orioles thus far. Another thing that has been occurring throughout the season is just struggles from pitching and hitting. To start, the Orioles went into the season thinking that players like Grayson Rodriguez and Kyle Bradish will be ready. They knew Kyle Bradish wouldn't be ready till around June, July, but Grayson Rodriguez was healthy, and then he wasn't. He has a history of being injured, and that continued with this season, as he has not played a game yet. This left Zach Eflin and Duran Kramer as the two-headed monster to start the rotation, with Tomoyuki Sugano, Charlie Morton, Gabe Povich, and eventually Kyle Gibson trying to get some starts to go their way. Well, they did not go their way, at least for Charlie Morton and Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson ended up pitching around 4 games, has 3 losses, and pitched to a 16.78 ERA through 12 innings. Gabe Povich has a 5.29 ERA through 51 innings, and Charlie Morton has a 6.2 ERA through 53 and 2/3. Tomoyuki Sugano has been excellent for his rookie season, pitching to a 3.23 ERA, leading the team in 64 innings, and has only given up 23 runs. Tomoyuki Sugano, in my opinion, has been the best pitcher, and he is, of course, on an expiring deal. He only signed a 1-year deal, and Eflin has been number 2. Eflin is not an ace. He's more of a second or third best pitcher on the lineup kind of player, and with the rotation that the Orioles have right now, Zach Eflin does not fit that mold. Another person struggling is Felix Bautista, the former best closer in the league just a few seasons ago before he tore his UCL. He's not looked to form, pitching to a 3.86 ERA. While you don't expect him to be, the best closer in the league, best reliever in the league, you don't expect him to be like he has. I really hope he figures it out, because with trade rumors going around, his time as an Oriole could be coming to an end. Now on to hitting. The addition of Tyler O'Neill, which was signed in the offseason to replace Santander, has been piss poor, to say the least. Tyler O'Neill's batting 188 and is on the IL. He's only played 24 games, and he's a guy known for power, and he's only hit 2 home runs. Another outfielder struggling is Heston Kjerstad, batting 185 with a 231 OBP, has a 44-5 strikeout to walk ratio, and has only hit 4 home runs. That is a young bat that has been a top of the prospect list for a couple years now, and has just not been able to find his way in the major leagues. Another person struggling is Ryan Mountcastle. He's kind of turned it on as late before he hit the IL, but batting 246 with a 280 OBP is not what you want from Ryan Mountcastle, especially having only 2 home runs. And finally, of the major struggles, Adley Rutschman, the former first overall pick, ahead of players like Bobby Witt, batting 203, having a 300 OBP, and having 5 home runs, but that's not what he's known for. But he's swinging for the fences every play, and he has 37 strikeouts to show for it. They've insisted on playing Adley at the 2-hole, and it's not worked out. Other players, like Jordan Westberg and Colton Cowser, have been just bitten by the injury bug, just like the entire team has. As this season has been the year of injuries, not for just pitchers like last season, but for the entire team. As players like Westberg, Cowser, Ramon Arias, Gunnar Henderson, who missed a lot of spring training in the first 2 weeks of the season, Tyler O'Neill, Ryan Mountcastle, Gary Sanchez, just to name a few, have been on the IL. Ramon Laureano's on there now, as he was one of the best hitters on the team when he went out with an ankle injury. Overall, the team cannot escape injuries. And if the injuries keep setting in, they have no chance to turn it around. I do believe, however, that they will turn it around, just probably not enough to make the playoffs. I want to highlight one game specifically to show the Orioles' struggles, and that is on Easter, April 20th, against the Cincinnati Reds. I will say 2 things about this game. Jorge Mateo and Gary Sanchez pitched in the 8th and 9th inning. That is all you need to know. The final score was, I think, around 24-2, and that has been the kind of shadow on the season thus far. Now on to some bright spots on the team. Ryan O'Hearn, the former Royal traded to the Orioles for cash considerations, is now batting .329 with a .416 OBP, and is doing everything and anything you want him to do as a platoon first baseman. He's made the team have to get him in the lineup every week. They've made him. He's hitting against lefties, hitting against righties. He is consistent as you want. Another standout, Jackson Holliday in his second professional season. He's hitting .269 with a .319 OBP and looks a lot more comfortable at the plate. Last season, he'd chase a lot. And this season, he's consistently chased less and less. Just put the bat on the ball more and more, and is now batting leadoff for the Baltimore Orioles. Cedric Mullins was a bright spot through the first few weeks of the season. He's kind of cooled off, now batting .232, but he was, for the first few weeks, the only player that looked like he cared. And finally, in my opinion, Maverick Hanley. Although he's not known for his hitting, he has 3 hits and 36 ABs. He can't hit. He can't. His defense has been great as a backup catcher, and I personally like him better than Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez couldn't hit, and he's known for hitting. He's not known for defense. He's batting 100. The one thing I'm worried about for this team is the trade deadline. Players like Zach Eflin, Cedric Mullins, and Ryan O'Hearn are all rumored to be traded at the deadline because the Orioles are not in contention. If the Orioles can win a few more games, rally off 12 in a row, they could be right back in contention. But players like Ryan O'Hearn could end up playing for other teams, even though this is the place they want to be. And I would extend Ryan O'Hearn. Moving on to, kind of what I would do. Ryan O'Hearn should be extended. He's been nothing but great for the Baltimore Orioles. And of all the players that have deals expiring this season, I want to extend him and Tomoyuki Sugano. I would give Ryan O'Hearn probably a 2 to 3 year deal, and Sugano probably a 2-year deal since he's 35. Eflin is a player that, you'd love to have back. But if you can't get an ace, you don't want him back. You would flip him. Cedric Mullins has been an Oriole lifer And, with the amount of outfield prospects that the Orioles have, you probably think Cedric Mullins is not going to be an Oriole next season. Now, if I'm the Orioles, I'm also looking at Heston Kjerstad. Because Heston Kjerstad has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I'd give him a few more weeks, a few more months probably. Trade deadline. If anyone wants him, trade him. Get something out of him. Ryan Mountcastle, same thing there. Then I'd try to trade players like Gary Sanchez. I know, you're probably not going to get anything, literally anything. But I like Maverick Hanley as a backup catcher. And you're not paying him a lot of money. Try and eat some of the salary for Gary Sanchez and get him off your roster for maybe a low-level prospect. I also would try to trade Ynier Cano. He has been a player that has been very, up and down. And when he is down, he is down. He was down the entire month of May. April, he was great. He gave up 2 to 3 runs the entire month. May was awful. He's an April guy. But I would try to trade him. I doubt he has much value. But, you're probably not going to get much out of him but something's better than nothing. Finally, the Felix Bautista trade rumors. I would not trade Felix Bautista. I'd keep him on the roster and allow him to get more comfortable from the mound. That's going to do it for this video, I guess. This is more kind of a rant because I'm an Orioles fan and I'm really frustrated with my team. But I wanted to give a little bit of a dive into what the team has gone through, the injuries, the GM mismanagement. I do expect Mike Elias to not be a Baltimore Oriole in the next few months. But, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I should have more videos coming out throughout the summer. I apologize for not having more. This is kind of something I like doing, and then I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, why don't I do this more? I enjoy doing it. So I'll be doing more videos. Be on the lookout for that. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that if you'd like. Check the description for links to my other channels and my podcasts. And I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.